Hello viewers, welcome to the special edition of NRB TV talk show 0 Point. You all know that there will be an election on June the 2nd, Ontario provincial parliament election, and it's almost 2 weeks now. So we have invited one of the candidate from Scarborough Centre, which is very important in Scarborough area, in the middle of Scarborough, Mr. Mazhar Shafiq, and he is from the Liberal Party. So we will be asking him some questions that what is his plan, how he will be doing if he is elected. So Mr. Mazhar Shafiq, welcome to the studio. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to NRB TV and giving me this opportunity to reach to my voters and my audience. So thank you.
Welcome. And so let me begin by asking these questions. What brings you to the politics, especially in Canadian politics?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So, as you know, by profession, I'm an engineer. I worked in Pakistan, and then I came here and I upgraded my education, and then I find a job in automotive sector. So I was working as a quality engineer with Magna Group in an automotive sector. I worked there until 2008. So if you remember 2008, in the manufacturing industry, it was in crisis at that time. So there were a lot of layoffs happening, and that time was very not a good time to get a job, because they were laying off people. So I was actually involved in politics for long ago. Since I came to Canada, I always was involved in the Liberal Party, whether it's provincial or federal. So in 2008, my friend Rob Oliphant was running for a federal election. So I was helping him, and I was playing a key role in his campaign. So after the campaign ended and he was elected MP, and one day I just asked him because I need your reference because I'm applying for jobs. So he said, why don't you work for me? So it was something new for me. I said I never worked in political field, and I'm an engineering background, so I don't know. So he said, I will give you a 6-month contract. So you just start, do it. You keep applying the jobs, but 6-month contract, and if you feel comfortable later on, if you feel like, you can continue. So that was, I think, was the breakthrough. And that when I started working for a public office. And really, I really enjoyed it. It was amazing when you're helping people, when you are, you know people issues, and you try to help them. So this gives you internal satisfaction. So that was the time when I entered into the political field. So I worked for Rob Oliphant. Then I worked for Minister of Housing and Municipal Affairs, Kathleen Wynne, at that time. She was Ontario Minister. And then the leadership race happened, and I was involved in her leadership race. So she became Premier. And then I was actually, asked to come to the Premier office, join Premier office, and I was working as her senior advisor. So I worked there as her senior advisor, community relations, until 2018 when I decided to run, and I ran in this riding.
Wow, wonderful. So you were basically engineer, so you know how to build this province by special engineering things.
That's right.
So that would be wonderful to have as an elected member of provincial parliament here.
Definitely.
So if I ask you so you did not have any political background back home?
Back home, I was very much involved in student politics. Okay. I was involved in student politics. My family was involved in politics. So I always had a kind of interest. My father was a politician, and my family members were politicians.
There must have something. Yes, there should be some kind of.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So how is going? What is this is only 2 more weeks to go.
Yes.
So how things are going, and where is the Liberal Party's position right now?
Yeah, so things are very interesting. It's going very well. What I can tell you right now, I think it's only 13 days left for election. June the 2nd is the election day, and so we are working very hard. We're working very well in Scarborough Centre riding. We have knocked more than 50,000 doors, which is an achievement because it's a huge team, and we work day and night, and we were able to reach out to the people of our riding and listening to them. So Liberal Party released their platform 10 days ago. So it is a platform which is actually people of Ontario will love. There are a lot of stuff. If you ask me about education, so you remember during Doug Ford tenure, he did cut in education, he did cut in healthcare system, and both healthcare and education is a bone of our province, and our children. We came here for the better future of our children. So our plan is to make sure that we have more investment in education. So what we are doing is we are cancelling Highway 413, which is a useless highway, and investing that $10 billion into repairing the schools and building new schools. We are also hiring 10,000 more teachers and education workers. So that we want to cap the class size to 20 students, because right now there are more than 25 to 30 students in a class, and it is hard for teacher to student interaction. So our plan is to make sure we cap the class sizes. The students need to learn. Also, we are investing in OSAP. So for last few years, students have issues for the OSAP. They're not getting full Ontario Student Assistance Program, and also we are trying to do interest-free student loans. So that is our plan, which will be very helpful.
So why you are thinking, or Liberal Party is thinking, that the Highway 413, where Doug Ford will be investing $10 billion in over next few years. So yeah, why you are thinking that's a lesser important in terms of infrastructure?
So what I can tell you is, number one, that is a highway which we actually cancelled in our tenure. We did a study. We find out that it is not going to help much. First of all, it will only reduce your commute time to 30-second commute time. It's going to reduce. It is a farmland. It will impact overall environment. Doug Ford is helping his buddies who are developers, who are rich people, and want them to just build this highway on a farmland. Honestly, it's not going to help people. I think we need to have other options where it should be the maximum benefit for the people, but particularly this highway is not going to be a much benefit. We will cancel it and rather invest that $10 billion to our education system.
So you talked about education, that is good. In terms of infrastructure, if we talk about that little bit more about, in particular about the Scarborough Centre area. Just before I came to this show, one of the readers of my Facebook, she wrote, made a comment that Scarborough roads are like even the condition is very bad even than in Bangladesh. Right. So if you get elected, what are you going to do to improve this situation? So
our plan is we have a very good transit plan. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to introduce buck a ride. Buck a ride mean anywhere in Ontario you travel, whether at TTC, whether at GO train, whether at YRT or any other, you just need to spend $1 and that's it. So you need to go to Hamilton, you need to go to Niagara Falls, Ottawa, anywhere, you just $1. So that plan, what's going to happen, it will take 400,000 cars off the road, which will be very helpful for our environment, reducing pollution. It will also increase the ridership of the buses, of the GO train and all that. So that is one of the things. Particularly for Scarborough, what we are doing is we are building LRT. That is will be our plan. Also, we want to have our plan for, the subways. We are having 2 more subways in Scarborough. And then our plan will be to invest more into, of more $375 million funding for our transit projects in Scarborough. So that is our plan. To make sure that the Scarborough people, they don't have a problem or any issue for the travel. I know they are building right now, and the roads and all that are its mess. But I think when it will be built, you will see it will be a great asset.
Thank you very much for that. Another concern for Scarborough people that their violence, gun violence especially nowadays, is rising very much. Yeah. So what would be your plan if you, or what are you going to do to reduce these things? Yeah. Especially a lot of people are thinking about, if you think about your back home, handgun are not allowed even in Bangladesh. If I can tell you in particular that if you caught with a handgun, you will be in the prison for 10 years.
For sure.
So why government of Ontario or government of Canada are not very strict about that?
So this is unfortunate. Our plan is to once we come in power, we are going to ban handguns. So we are going to ban it because we think that it is not a good thing. So we should ban the handguns right away. So I think that will be very helpful in reducing the crime rate. Yes, that is in our platform. Firm plan. Yes, we will ban the handguns.
Regardless of the other people's...
Exactly. The plan is to ban the handgun.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. And another thing is affordable housing. Yes. We talk about that every election comes, and regardless of the party, every candidate individually, they're talking about affordable housing. If we think about last 4 years, I don't see any changes to get the affordable housing, especially for the middle class people. So what would be the Liberal Party's plan, or is there anything there so people can see the actual changes?
Exactly. So I agree with you honestly, and that is a huge concern, and that is I'm hearing at the doors as well. So our plan is to build 1.5 million houses. That is one thing. Number 2, those houses will be given to the people or first-time home buyer. It's not like people who just want to invest their money. It is for people who really need home. So we want that, we help the people who really want a home rather than investing your money. You already have one home and just buy another one just to invest it. So that is our plan. The other thing I just want to mention is our rent control, because the rent control is going out of control now. When there was a Liberal government, we capped the rent control to the inflation rate. But now, after the Doug Ford, they removed it. So landlord can increase rent whenever he wants, or doesn't matter what rate he can increase any time. So our plan is once we are in power, we will have a cap on rent control as well. So people who are living in the apartment buildings, so they also have a relief. But we will be building more homes. I know it's a demand and supply issue. We need to have a supply.
So you think that you will be able to show the differences between the past and...
Oh yes, 100%, yes.
And the next one, people are concerned about the health issue, like health system actually. We very often talk about the waiting time in the emergency, and I personally, I was in the emergency yesterday. I waited for 10 years, I mean 10 hours. So what is your plan, or what individually you will be contributed to that issue, so that waiting time is reduced and people can get home earlier than what it's going right now?
100%, I agree with you. Emergency wait time is too much. Our plan is to hire more doctors, more nurses, more PSWs, and to reduce the wait times. So that is our plan, and that's why we are investing in healthcare system to make sure that. And the second thing is foreign credential or foreign trained doctors, foreign trained nurses. We also want them to be a part of this system. So we are actually making sure that, you know, the barriers they face are kind of issues they have getting their credentials recognized. We are trying to make sure that those barriers are removed for them and they become a part of this system as well. But definitely we will be hiring more doctors, more nurses and more PSWs.
In terms of the price hike,
yes,
every single things are rising,
yeah,
but people's salary,
yeah,
did not rise.
yes.
So what are you going to do? Is there any planned Liberal Party,
yeah,
or you have to reduce the price of the things and make a little bit easier for people?
For sure. So what I can tell you is our plan is to, number one, our plan is first we increase the minimum wage to $16 an hour. That's the first step. But it's not going to solve all the problem. Later on, what we are going to do is we will replace the minimum wage with the regional income. It will be kind of a base income. Like in previous Liberal government, we have a universal income pilot project we started, and that pilot project was, you know, suppose you are living in Toronto. In Toronto, the rent are high, the other stuff are high. If you go to a suburban area, that rent is low. So it will be, the salary will be as per the regional basic income required to survive. So that's our plan, is to minimum wage, to change it to livable income. So if you are living in an area where the livable income is, suppose $2,000, so you should at least earning that much money.
Thank you for that. We are going to the next question. Actually, we are almost done for the show. This is the last one. Islamophobia, yes, like hate crime, lots of places. I attended a seminar other day, you were there,
yes,
and they were reporting that every single day there are at least one incident happening. Exactly. So what is your plan? What are you going to do? I know Salma Zahid, our MP, she is trying her best. What are you going to be contributing to?
Yeah, so I'm happy that you came to that event. So that was an event which I organized and invited the executive director of NCCM, which is an advocacy group working very hard on this issue, Islamophobia. So the purpose was, I want a feedback from the Muslim leadership, from the Muslim community. So once I am elected, I am in the Legislative Assembly, I have that kind of feedback, so I can give my input at the Legislative Assembly. What I can tell you is, you know, our London Family Act, that was an act which NDP and Liberals supported at Queen's Park, but Conservative government did not allow it to pass this act. So this act, our plan is, once we are back, we will 100% will be supporting this act to become and legislate. So later on, nobody, you know, face Islamophobia or this kind of hate here. So we want to have some kind of laws, strict laws, so we are against any form of hate or any form of discrimination, whether it's Islamophobia, whether it's black community, whether it's Chinese community, any community, and any form of hate, we are against that.
Thank you very much. But do you like to, I know your very crucial time, you have only 13 days to go. Do you like to say a few more things by yourself to our audience?
Thank you so much for inviting me again, and thank you for NRB TV. As you know, we are only 13 days away from a provincial election. This is a very important election. In this election, you need to choose. Choice is yours. You need to choose a government who cut in healthcare, who cut in education, or you want a government who invest in healthcare, who invest in education, who understand people issues, who understand the rising cost of living and address those issues. So I think that's why I will request you, everyone, to please go out and vote on June the 2nd. And as you know, the advanced poll is already starting today until May the 28th. So I think it's very easy. You just go there. It normally takes 3 minutes of your time, and it will be easy for you. There is no big lineups or anything. You just go there, cast your vote, take your family, make sure that everybody in your family vote, because it is a very important, and you need to make sure that you elect a person who actually listen to your community, who understand your community issues, and who can be champion of your issues, who can take it to the Queen's Park and be your voice. So thank you so much. Make sure on June the 2nd, vote for Mazhar Shafiq. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and I wish you a good luck to the election. Viewers, that concludes our conversation with Mazhar Shafiq. One thing just I want to tell everyone, that please vote wherever you are, whatever you do. There are longer time to vote, I guess until 8 o'clock. So please vote. If you vote, you will bring the better quality of our life, better fundings, and better representation. Thank you for watching.